"Okay, here goes," Nina whispered, her fingers shaking as she tapped the screen. The phone lit up her face in a ghostly glow. She held her breath. The new True Self filter was about to activate. Her reflection blinked. At first, it was normal. Then, something shifted. "Wait, what?" She gasped, leaning closer. Her eyes widened. Her face on the screen started to fade. The shadows in the room seemed to stretch toward her, the city outside a distant hum, and then the screen went black. She activated the filter, and her true self disappeared. Nina sat cross-legged on her bed, the room a quiet cocoon around her. She was a girl who always felt a little out of place, thoughtful, curious, and endlessly scrolling through the world from behind her phone screen. Her hair fell in loose waves around her face, and her eyes, wide and restless, darted from one notification to the next. Tonight, however, there was a different kind of energy in the air, a mix of anticipation and unease that made her stomach flutter. The room was wrapped in silence, broken only by the soft, eerie glow of Nina's phone. Outside, the city hummed faintly, a distant pulse of life she couldn't reach. Shadows stretched along the walls, twisting and dancing with the flicker of the screen. Tonight felt different, as if the air itself were waiting, holding its breath. A new TikTok filter had taken the world by storm, the True Self filter. It promised to reveal the hidden self, the essence of who you really were. Some users appeared angelic, others confronted their darkest fears, and a few saw nothing at all, staring into a black void where their reflection should have been. Nina's fingers hovered over the screen, trembling. She was never reckless, always cautious, but curiosity had its claws in her tonight. The faint hum of the city outside and distant sirens sounded far away. "It's just a filter. It's just pixels," she muttered, trying to convince herself. The phone hummed, spilling light across her face, painting her in shifting shades of silver and shadow. The glow pulsed in time with her heartbeat. Her hand quivered as she tapped the screen, and the filter came alive with a soft chime, like a breath exhaled from another world. The filter's reflection. Her face appeared on screen, softly illuminated. At first, it was just her, ordinary, familiar. Then, almost imperceptibly, her features shifted. Her eyes softened, gaining a calm depth she didn't recognize. Her lips curved into a gentle, serene smile. A faint shimmer of light danced beneath her skin, as if her reflection had a heartbeat of its own. Nina gasped. "Is that really me?" Her voice sounded strange in the thick silence of the room, echoing off the walls. The reflection moved in tandem with her, yet it was different, untouchable, distant, almost ethereal. She leaned closer, mesmerized, the screen glowing brighter, shadows stretching across her room like dark fingers. "It's beautiful and terrifying," she murmured. The air around her thickened, electric. The screen pulsed as if alive. Nina's reflection blinked, and for a brief moment she felt a tug, as if the other self was calling her toward the unknown. Who are you?" she whispered aloud. No answer came, only the soft hum of the phone. The vanishing. Suddenly the image faltered. Her reflection froze. Her eyes darkened, empty, as though a shadow had consumed them. Her features twisted, blurred, and finally dissolved entirely, leaving only darkness. The screen went black, swallowing the glow and leaving a void pressing against her chest. Nina's breath caught. A cold shiver ran through her. She had become one of those people the filter couldn't reveal. Her true self. Invisible. The phone vibrated sharply, making her jump. A notification blinked onto the dark screen from her own account. The filter shows nothing because your true self is already here. Her hands shook. The room felt alive with tension. Every sound, the hum of the city, the faint creak of her floorboards, was amplified. "What does that mean?" she whispered. The emptiness on the screen wasn't a void. It reflected something deeper, a truth she had avoided for years. Her reflection had disappeared, but its absence screamed louder than any image. In that silence, Nina realized she was staring at herself, at all the parts she had hidden, ignored, or forgotten. The unseen truth. Nina lowered the phone slowly, heart pounding. "So, this is me?" she whispered to the shadows. The room was quiet, but it felt alive. The air seemed to hum, charged with possibilities. The filter hadn't lied. It hadn't failed. Some selves cannot be seen, only felt. They exist in choices, courage, and moments you face yourself. The true self is not a reflection. It is a path, waiting to be realized. Nina stepped toward the window, looking out at the city lights, sparkling like distant stars. "I don't need the screen," she whispered. "I can find myself in who I choose to be." For the first time, she felt clarity. The emptiness the filter revealed wasn't a curse. It was an invitation to live fully, unseen, but no longer lost. She turned away from the window, leaving the phone on the table. The room felt full of possibility, her unseen self waiting patiently, ready to emerge. "I see you now," she whispered to the darkness. Somewhere, beyond shadows and light, it stirred. A part of herself she had never met, alive, patient, and waiting for her first step. Nina exhaled, the weight in her chest lifting slightly, but a spark of unease remained. She set the phone down, its screen dark and silent. Yet she felt as if something unseen was still watching her. Was her true self really gone? Or had it been waiting, hidden until now? The shadows in the room seemed to pulse softly, almost like they were alive, whispering secrets she couldn't yet understand. Outside, the city carried on, oblivious, but Nina knew one thing: tonight had changed her forever. And somewhere, in the silence between the light and dark, her real journey was only beginning.